And thank you to my co-panelists. My name is Gadoli Mbogwa. I work for, I like to say I'm privileged to serve at Chiromo Hospital Group as the head of digital, and also at AR Hospital where I'm in charge of mental health, the one on Kiambu Road. I'm truly passionate about two things. My work is mainly on treatment of patients, but what I'm really passionate about is being in a space of prevention and promotion where mental health care is concerned. That truly is a space that makes me feel that I'm truly serving God and humanity. I'm not just waiting for people to be sick, but also doing something in terms of prevention. And talking about prevention, I want to start by saying that I feel that when we think about digital wellness, digital mental health, I feel like most of the time we, or even as ourselves, we are guilty. We are guilty of using it from a reactive point. We only go to the AI, to the tools, to the apps, to whichever organization, because something happened to you. Maybe you're not sleeping, or you're not eating well, or somebody told you, are you okay? And you start asking that question. And I wish we would be in a space where we are able to somehow have the data that we churn every day through the calls that we are making, the messages that we are sending, the media that we are consuming, churn out data that can be able to help people in school and also people within the workplaces. Because I feel that if we are in that particular kind of space, then truly we are engaging more of in a helpful space. You talked about TikTok. I don't think it's necessarily a bad space, because when you talk about mental health and the digital space, it's truly a double-edged sword. Like it's how do you consume it, how do you use it, what are the laws around it. The truth of the matter is most people spend time on phones, right? You've all been touching and fidgeting your phones. It's the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning. So the younger generation, the youth, they're likely to go to TikTok. They're actually likely to believe what somebody shared on TikTok than even what I told them in my office. Like if I say it and then they see it on TikTok, they'll be like, I think, this is a thing because somebody else also said it out there, all right? So it's not necessarily a negative thing. When you're looking about how the generation, the children today are learning, it's a whole game changer. Things that we didn't know, things that we were not able to experience. For example, just learning how to teach yourself new languages, like through Duolingo, for example. I think I'm from a generation where everybody after high school, they all used to do two things. You either go to IIT or computer packages or French or what's the other in German institute? Yes. Those were the only things. But today, you'll find that the kids of today are very, very different. And we have to change with the changes. And for us to be able to do that, then we have to be hands-on where technology is concerned, and to be able to leverage on it fully. On the flip side, what we are seeing as professionals in terms of the cases that are coming through the hospital, unfortunately, is, for example, increased burnout. Yeah, it's a good thing that kids are able to learn, people are able to teach themselves. The world is moving fast, so we are evolving e-learning in schools, but I don't think we were prepared in terms of the repercussion of an underdeveloped brain consuming that level of screen time. So we do have, actually, as I think last month, we had the Swedish government cancel all e-learning, and they're calling it back to basics. So they are back to teaching students how they used to teach them, because unfortunately we have increased anxiety. You'll find that if a child does not have a gadget, if they can't play that game, if they can't see those shots, they don't know what else to do with themselves. You'll always hear people saying, I'm so bored. But imagine it's not just children, even people in the offices, even ourselves. You'll find that disconnecting has become completely hard. So we are always on the on. And when we are the on, then it means that our brain is constantly, glowing. If it's not work, then it's the notifications. Most of you, when you look at your screens on top, I think it initially started innocently with people just having their loved ones as a screenshot. Nowadays, it's just full of notifications from top to bottom. Even the ones who've put on silent, they're on silent, but they appear there on the screen. They don't want to miss out, all right? So that increased anxiety is really, really a concern. I want you to also ponder on this. When we looked at the report that was released in March, the Happiness Index report, how do you think we did as Kenyans? Somebody's laughing. Yeah. We actually dropped in the Happiness Index. When I thought about that, and then I thought, wait, is this not the only country that has successfully bullied their president out of social media? Then it made me wonder, what's going on, right? I'm not saying that digital AI being in that space is what is making us unhappy solely. I'm not saying that's the case. But I'm saying that sometimes if it's not used well, then it actually adds to burnout. It actually adds to more stressors. It actually adds to social comparison, not just children. Kitambo, the only issues we used to worry about is how to talk to teenagers because of social comparison of their body image. Nowadays, it's we adults, people in their 30s saying, oh, I don't have a child, I'm not married, look at that one, how they were proposed to, why did you buy me this? That's what is going on. We are also engaging in that social comparison. And what is that then doing? We have then increased rates of depressive symptoms, insomnia. We have increased rates of suicidality. I can't even begin to tell you the number of cases we see per day. I'm not even talking about Chiromo, I'm talking about AR because that's a physical hospital. So that's where people are likely to be brought in case of an emergency. It's so unbelievable, the number of people who come in through the ED because of suicide attempts. And the thought process is, this must be only the youth. No, it's also people in the workplaces. It's also people who are middle-aged. In fact, the younger ones, way younger, the Gen Zs, them they are more woke. They actually voluntarily come with their parents. I see so many 16-year-olds, I can't even begin to tell you how many, who come with their parents and they say, my daughter told me she wants to see a psychologist. I saw you online, so please talk to her, whatever it is. Yeah, but if you go to late 20s, 30s, 40s, those are the people who are so burdened with stigma. So those are the things that we are seeing. Those are also the things that we need to take care of. And as much as, let me just add one more thing in terms of what Amisa said. Like for example, at Chiromo, we did digitalize all the globally accredited tools. And even though today it means somebody can be able to assess themselves at the comfort of their home, which is a good thing, but what percentage of people can actually be able to do that? And actually also understand it in a way that it will not cause even more anxiety. Now that you use this globally accredited tool and you realize it's written severe symptoms of depression, So I think it's a challenge to, all of us to keep looking, keep relooking, keep learning, keep asking ourselves the right questions, keep collaborating, as it was said also in the other earlier panel, to see how best can we do this.
Thank you, Gathoni. I think you've also reminded all of us to unplug. There's this page I like on Instagram, I can't remember the name, but every Friday they give you a reminder to shut your laptop, and they finish it by saying, shut your laptop, beloved. go and touch some grass, you know. So that reminds us that even once you're seeing all these videos, all this content online, that you need to unplug at the end of the day, go touch some grass and live in your own reality. So as a question to all of you, for my gorgeous panelists, we've heard about AI potential, grassroots realities, institutional responses, but the ecosystem is only as strong as its connections. So as Kenya and Africa steps deeper into its digital future, what key actions should the government, tech companies, and mental health professionals take to ensure that mental health is not left behind in the conversations?
Okay, yeah. So I think one of the key questions is, one of the key comments actually that I like saying is that the government should implement the policies that we have. Like recently, I think it was last week but one is when we had like a new AI policy or guideline, something like that, you can call it strategy. But there have been strategies before or things to work about. Have we implemented such kind of things? So instead of coming up with this kind of, and the other thing that I keep on questioning in these strategies, how is it protecting us as citizens? Because if you see like, there's a previous, I don't know which document, I don't want to quote something that I don't remember the document from. I read the whole document, and I was working on TFGBV, like online gender-based violence, and as we are looking through the documents, we realized that the only document that has ever talked about mental health and wellness in that policy document only touched on what mental health is. Actually, there's only 2 paragraphs, and then the whole document was talking about security and AI, but it was also only talking about national security and how the government can protect itself from any cyber attacks or all those kind of things. But we as citizens, we do not have a role to play in that. So how do we make sure that it is also, like even the policies, the documents which are created are for us as Kenyans? Like I gave the example there. When you're talking about the meta case, a lot of people are going to develop apps and tools. And now Africa is the youngest continent with a lot of young people. So that means every investor is looking to tap into the continent. Are we protecting our youth when it comes to all this, or are we making them exploited to all these kind of things? Because we know, like even online working, there's no regulation when it comes to, I can be easily exploited because there's no regulation on how much I'm protected with online working and all those kind of things. So what about even just the normal digital tools? So that is one aspect. The other thing that I would actually advise the government, or even for us as stakeholders or people in the mental health and wellness space, is what intentionality do we have when it comes to putting people first instead of profit? Because most of the programs, innovation, interventions, diagnostic tools, every kind of things, most of the time is usually from the point of profit. And by the way, we are looking for money, most of us, right? So I'm not saying you should not look for money, but I'm saying where do we draw the line to make sure that even the government should have regulations, if we come to a point where we trust it, to make sure that there's regulation so that we do not cause more harm to the people we are trying to offer mental health and psychosocial support or mental health interventions compared to the profit you want to make. Because nowadays it's more of, I do not care what is there. Me, for as long as I get my money, for as long as I do this, it's never about people. So how do we go back again? And I keep on repeating that, to be our human self and extend humanity to other people who we are serving. The final part is, how do we also offer dignified? Because yes, we are offering all these kind of tools, we are stakeholders, we are coming together, we are partnering, but is it dignified? Can a person come to an institute, let's say in Ivisha, and say, I went to that space and they treated me with so much dignity that it has changed my perspective from seeing mental health from this thing to this thing. So these small things like offering the services with dignity, making sure that even the app or even us how we're interacting online, like it is with dignity and respect, is very important. Because if you go online, you will see how vile we are. Sometimes I usually say, okay, you can be vile to to government people or what not, because I don't know the grudge that you have. But sometimes the violence, somebody can come and say that I attempted suicide, and they will be insulted so much that you even wonder where is our humanity. So how do we go back to the basics, that just being human and reminding ourselves constantly that this is just a tool that is there to facilitate us having efficient life, but it is not a tool for us to hide behind screens and cause more harm to other people.
On my part, for tech companies, I would say is more collaborations and building more local innovations. So one of the things we do at Kenya is we hold hackathons, which are innovation competitions where different people from the community, whether it's people who have a tech background or a non-tech background, come together to build different solutions to address different problems. The last hackathon we did focused on using generative AI to build tools for scientific discovery. So how do we take the large volumes of scientific research and process them and have a very understandable version that can now be actioned on by other scientists. So I would encourage everyone, and especially if you have a mental health use case, you can invite developers, you can invite user design researchers, software engineers, legal experts to come and design solutions that now we can take up. We don't necessarily need to wait for the government to give an order for us to start building these tools. We can just start building them from the grassroots, and then from time the ones that work very well can now be rolled out nationally.
Thank you. Four things. I was trying to write down my thoughts. The first thing, I think as a practitioner, one of the things that I would like to really be looked into is the labor laws. I think since COVID, there has completely been a shift. I'm an in charge, so I have people under me, and I'm not going to speak from a space where I'm not, or I would say I'm perfect, but I think we kind of lost boundaries in the process of working hard or in the process of being in the hustle nation. So you'll find that you'll get emails at night, you'll be asked to do presentations at night, a follow-up will be done on WhatsApp way past working hours. Sunday you will still be texted. I mean, gone are the days where we would wait for Monday to go look at our emails or wait for the next day. So if we are to relook into those laws, then we are able to protect the citizens of this country. I think that's something that is very key, because that is increasing burnout, and that is literally messing with the mental health of a lot of people, because I feel like individuals work from also a space of fear. There are no jobs, so how are you going to not return that email or not do what you are told to do? But if it comes from if it's actually documented, then I think we can be held accountable. The other thing that I have seen, at least there's some work that is going on, but we still need to do more, is in terms of data protection. I know that I've done some work with ODPC, so I like that we're in a space where we are at least even mindful of asking for consent, whether we are shooting something, whether we are asking even somebody with lived experience to talk about what they are going through. We are trying to ask for their consent and they are signing documents. But I feel that there's still a lot more that needs to be done. Now that we are saying, can we have telecounseling sessions? Can we give people our toll-free lines? But how safe is that data about that individual, considering we're also in a country where there's a lot of, not in a country, in a world where there's a lot of keyboard warriors. So I feel like there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. The other thing, and I want to appreciate colleagues for bringing us here together, and I've seen his growth. He's done such an excellent job. I'm so proud of him. But these kind of conversations need those people in the government, they need to be seated here. They need to be listening to this conversation. They need to be here for us to ask them those questions. What is going on? Yeah, we can't keep sitting and making strategies, and per diems are gotten and a whole draft is done, but the implementation and the rolling, yeah, it doesn't work. So in terms of, I think we can only do our best. There is no perfection. And then the last thing is in terms of, we really need to figure out as a country, how can we be able to ensure that the things at work actually remain as so, even though there's a change of government. I don't know what you're going to do, but we really need that. Because we make so much progress, and then new people come in, and then we are back to square one. Not fully, but as people are trying to figure themselves out, we end up losing some of these things. So I feel like that's also something that I'm hoping that we will get into a space where we can say, health, this is working, mental health, this is working and it's put in place, let's invest more in it. I mean, it's part of the SDG 3 still. So let's keep pushing it, even though we have a change of government. Yeah. So those 4 key things.
Thank you so much. We have like 2 minutes before we close. I'd like to open it up to the audience. Do you have any reflections, questions? I see a hand at the back.